You're still watching The Pulse on JoyNews TV. You're also live on our Facebook channel there. You can also watch us there on our Facebook and also on DSTV. Welcome back. We're still doing the flooding situation. Like I said, NADMO and humanitarian ambassador will be joining us. Kofi Hagan is with us. He's a humanitarian ambassador. We're also expecting Abu Ramadan, the Deputy Director General of NADMO, to also join us. Earlier, we heard from the Mayor of Accra, who says a comprehensive plan to dealing with the perennial flooding situation will be announced shortly. But let's deal with the humanitarian ambassador, Kofi Hagan. Good afternoon, welcome.
Good afternoon, sister.
So it's another year. We can almost bet that every year the situation will come. We'll talk about it. Does it worry you like it does others?
Oh, it worries everybody because you know, when disasters strike like this, it is unfortunately the most vulnerable in society who bear the brunt of these issues. You talk about children, you talk about the people with disabilities, and then very poor people who cannot afford accommodation. Sometimes those people have to make do with going to places that are disaster prone, flood prone, and all these things. So nobody should be happy at all. We always have to count on the government to work through NADMO to ensure that the preemptive measures are taken to prevent the occurrences of this. Though as citizens also we have some responsibilities to ensure that we keep ourselves out of harm's way when the rains especially are approaching. Ghana, we are fortunate. We don't have these hurricanes. We don't have earthquakes.
I wonder how the situation will be if we have to experience hurricanes.
I don't know.
Because it's just rained 2 hours today.
Because these are very preventable. They are very predictable. And if we can't deal with them, and how much less hurricanes and other disasters that are totally not predictable. So it's a serious worry.
Kofi, I'm sure you've been dealing with this situation for some time now, trying to find answers. What is the issue really with our inability to deal with this perennial flooding situation?
As a nation, we don't take disasters serious.
We don't?
Yes, from the government through to the ordinary person. It is very easy for you to find people who are rushing to dump, all sorts of rubbish into drains when it's about to rain. I don't get where that comes from. I don't get it. People think once it rains, everything goes away, but it's not so. You'll be there if you're observant. You'll be there. You see other people's own coming, and then you also go and throw it. So you should know that it's going elsewhere, and especially in a country where we open drains is like the norm. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
But authorities also have a role to play.
They
are
the main people who are supposed to handle this, because
if you give us open drains,
that's what I'm talking about. Open drains. Unfortunately, our leaders, they travel. Open drain is not a normal thing. It's not normal. You should be able to walk through a city, especially a city like Accra, without seeing any drains.
But why don't we have it?
I think the government, the city authorities, the engineers, they should let us know, because we as a country, when we started, we had those things in mind. Planning Tema as a city, and Nkrumah ensured that there was a proper sewage system to the extent that we had the Ghana Water and Sewage Corporation at that time. Now the sewage is gone.
Yeah, it's now just Ghana Water.
Why is the sewage aspect gone? It means we are not interested. We are interested in getting water to drink, but we are not interested in, disposing of the water that we use. Why? Why should that happen? So whoever, it is very difficult for you to get people in authority to speak at this time because they know they are to blame. They know it is, for lack of a better word, their irresponsibility that, you know, makes this issue recur every year. Why should we be celebrating flood as a country?
It's an annual ritual.
It's an annual ritual. We know, just like Christmas, we know it will come.
Yeah.
Whether we are prepared, we are not prepared, Christmas is going to come.
Do you think that as a people, we're used to it now, we are expecting it to come? It
shouldn't be so, but it looks as that. You know, unfortunately, the government has this organization, NADMO, you know, in place to be able to help with prevention, you know, and then even when it happens, to mitigate, to put in place measures to mitigate its effects on people. But I don't know why it's not working, especially this year. Especially this year, talking to some of the NADMO officials, the metro, municipal, and district directors, all of you will tell you that this year, since the change of government, they've not been taken care of. Resources are not coming. Finances are not coming. They are entitled to, you know, monthly allowances that they are supposed to use to run their offices, including taking measures to even taking preventive measures and responding to disasters when they happen. Monies have not been coming since the beginning of this year. That's very serious. So the the directors are being forced to run their operations from their pockets, from their own pockets. But
how is that sustainable?
It's not even possible. Do you understand? It's not possible. They are there, they have their salaries, and then they get some interest also to work. So if the interest is not coming, they just draw their salaries, and then nothing happens. This is not right. And then even there's a contingency aspect of the common fund that these the metro MMDCs are also supposed to have. They have to take care of it and then use some in times like this. That's also not working. I don't know what the money is being used for.
National Disaster Management Organization.
Yes.
They don't have the resources.
They don't have the resources.
I recall there was an incident in Tamale where there was a spillage of the Bagri Dam. We also had some flooding situation. People were not able to get any resources from NADMO. We were told that it was coming. It later came and there were a whole lot of issues. So what you're saying is that NADMO is not resourced.
NADMO is, nobody cares about NADMO. I don't know whether it's for political reasons, you know, they've been, because previously the administration ensured that NADMO became more, you know, effective, probably, you know, learning from the problem we had here in June, this is the June 3rd disaster. And, you know, even as part of the law, the NADMO law, they've been made part of the technical committee that designs buildings and you know, give permits such that they will be part of our buildings, our city planning from the scratch, so that buildings that are, they will not allow buildings to be, you know, erected just anyhow, where they are flood prone, and then also those buildings
functioning.
Those buildings are also supposed to be, you know, disaster resistant. But as I'm saying, that law, nobody is caring about it. Not just flooding. The fall armyworm disaster is still there, wreaking havoc. The poor farmers, the peasant farmers, they have their, you know, harvest taken over by this armyworm.
But we were told it was defeated.
That's the lie. It came out because the minister himself came out boldly, went to parliament, and told that big fat lie that it's been defeated, only for the deputy minister to come and counter it by saying it was rather under control. But as at now, as I speak to you, the army worm fall is the fall army worm is still there wreaking havoc, and even the president, I don't know whether he's still there or he's left. We've not heard him make any mention, but rather, you know, appropriating projects that are and taking credits and those things we have been made to engage in this fruitless argument of the water, the water project, who's supposed to take credit and all these things, whilst the people who are suffering from the fall army worm are still suffering. The coastal areas, recently we have this havoc also, where lives were lost, where people's canoes, nets were destroyed, and NADMO couldn't help up till now.
Because they can't help.
They can't help. The government is supposed to do that. The government is supposed to resource NADMO so that NADMO works. If their monthly impress are not coming, it means they are just sitting there. They are entitled to their salary. They pick them up. Probably if there is a flood like this and you're a NADMO officer, all you can do, go there empty-handed, probably with your camera phone, and then take pictures or video, so that in case a news organization approaches you, that's all you can do. So,
Mr. Hagan, it looks like the situation is more serious than we thought. Because if there is a disaster today, if there is any serious situation like we've seen with the hurricane and all that, there's nothing for those who will be affected.
Oh, nothing at all. It's very unfortunate. But as a nation, growing up, we saw a different approach. There were situations where, when there was a disaster, even soldiers would come out to, make sure that everybody was safe and all that. It's no more.
But today we've heard the mayor of Accra, for instance, say that there's a comprehensive plan that will be rolled out shortly in how we're going to deal with this perennial flooding situation once and for all. You believe it? Do you think there is any comprehensive
plan at this time? Plan yet to be rolled out?
In the coming days, he says.
After those people who are supposed to die have died, and those who are supposed to, who are unfortunate to have lost properties and co have already done it. We are here. The government machinery is running. It's been running since January 7th, when our president, His Excellency NADMO, was sworn in. Some of the ministers even started acting by asking people, even, sacking people from their offices, even before they were vetted. They were in a hurry, that much hurry. So what prevented that plan from being rolled out? Do we have to hear of such plans after a disaster?
But that's the norm. When it happens, then there is a tour from government officials, NADMO officials, AMA officials. They tour the affected areas, and then they give all the nice speeches. And we witnessed one today. It is unfortunate. We need to, hold our government accountable. It is high time people who have suffered some of these disasters took the government on, took them to court, because there are laws. There are laws. The laws that established NADMO recruited so many people, put them on payroll. Why should they be there not working? What is the reason? Why should we recruit them, pay them, and then, make sure tie their hands behind them, and then just draw on gun? Because they have been employed to ensure that people who cannot take care of themselves, especially, unfortunately, most of these disasters, when they happen, the hardest hits are the lowest on the economic ladder. Exactly.
Hardly do you hear of a disaster of such nature, killing some president somewhere, some minister somewhere, some
they are
rich
well covered,
person.
aren't they?
They are covered, even when their mobile phones get soaked in flood. Some of them have insurance. Is it the reason why they don't care? Then we are living in a very selfish country with very, very selfish leaders. So we must call on our father. All of us, we have one father called the president. We call him His Excellency because we expect him to be father to all of us. They shouldn't do what they are doing just because they feel these NADMO people, the current directors and workers were all recruited by the previous administration, and so the only thing they can do is to sack them, because now the law doesn't allow them to be sacked. So it seems out of frustration, realizing they can't just do what they like, they just leave them there, like what used to happen. So they say, you appoint him, give him a big office, give him a big car, and then let him rot. That is what is happening. But the disaster coordinator or director loses nothing.
He will just draw his salaries at the end.
Draw his salary, and once there's no work for him to do, probably engage himself in something more profitable at the expense of the poor fisherman who lost a relative, who got injured, who lost a canoe, who lost a net. And then, you know, when you go to the north, my sister, you know, over there, there's only one crop season. People farm, and whatever they get is what they are supposed to rely on for the rest of the year.
Well, the president is there in the northern
region.
The
president is there and has not made any mention of that.
He just arrived in the northern region today. So
rather appropriating things that are not his.
Mr. Hagan, and hopefully he will make mention of it.
Make them his. Whilst because of Google, any WhatsApp phone can Google. You can Google water project, and every document, every information you need will be there. There's a parliamentary Hansard that you can go and see how the funding was secured when it was started.
Well, we wouldn't want to double into that right now.
So I expect that, in fact, issues come, we talk about them, and then they die naturally. But currently, the Northerners, some of them are starving.
And that's a serious
They are starving. So if you are a president and you go there, we want to hear from you. You visit these, the affected farms and the farmers. That's what growing up, how we used to know our leaders operate. At least they come to you, you know, sympathize with you. If there is even some rice, something to give them. Because these people, they grow and then they are supposed to keep whatever they have. That is why sometimes they come here to endure all these hardships as Kayaye and Co. Because once one crop season is gone, they just rot away. The farmers, they have nothing to do. So imagine even that one crop is taken over by Army Worm and minister and the deputy, you know, talking in different directions, and NADMO that is capable of handling this work is not able to do it.
It's not resourced. Mr. Hagan, we could go on and on with this. Thank you very much for your time. Mr. Kofi Hagan is a humanitarian ambassador. Interesting conversation. We would want to go on and on with him, but that's where time will allow us. The NADMO Deputy Director General was supposed to join us, Abu Ramadan. Hopefully he will be able to join us before this program ends. But we'll take a short break.